What is up, everybody? It's your boy Rogue here. So, I want to talk about the format right now because honestly, YCS Niagara just ended, and it appears that the format is not as bad as everyone said it was. Going into the post-Rage of the Abyss format, aka Rota Format, everyone was like, man, this is a tier 0 format. The game is over. All we're going to do is see Snake Eyes as mini decks everywhere. YCS Niagara rolls around, locals start rolling around, and for one, I barely see the Snake Eyes as mini deck, probably because it's still new, at least locally. But for two, I'm seeing a plethora of decks topping. Ryan Yu, shout out to bro. That dude is skillful. I think he was also good in Master Duels, not Master Duels. He was also good in Dragon Duels as well. That kid is improved, like he's Yugioh in the flesh. This dude literally just went second place in a supposed tier 0 format with a deck like Sky Striker. Now, there's no shade against Sky Striker players. Sky Strikers is a solidly good deck. But why that's so impressive is because he did it without two of the main cards of the format, which is Dominus Impulse and the Forwallows card, that new Max C. And that just goes to show you that when you're a master of your deck and you're good at the game and you can like figure out the format in detail, you can still win. Now, obviously you can't do this in every format, like the pure Snake Eyes format. Before it started getting hit, you couldn't really do that as much, and that deck was just too nutty. But now in this Rota format, guys, it seems to be pretty open field. Like me, for example, locally, I've been doing still good with heroes of all decks, and that deck is just supposed to be really bad, tier 3. However, me and other hero players in the hero group, we either top locals consistently and or win locals consistently. And people like to always say locals don't matter, but dude, locals matter. Locals is a smaller scale of what can potentially happen in the YCS, especially if you go undefeated or do good consistently. A lot of people who do good consistently at locals usually top regionals, and every once in a while they're top of YCS. If they're a really good player, they're going to top of YCS all the time. Pac, for example. Pac, I don't watch the channel as much. I'm not finna act like I know the dude like that to a T, but I do know he's a well-known player. The dude just took Centurions and got top 16 at YCS Niagara Falls. And then there was also the Yugioh guy, Michael Walters, who I know him because he was part of the Yugioh group. I think he watches my YouTube channel as well. Mike, if you do, let me know in the comment section down below. He piloted pure Yugioh, no Fiendsman Vengeance. The dude's he's the Yugioh god. I ain't gonna lie, he's the best Yugioh player, hands down, in my opinion. He piloted pure Yugioh featuring the Super Poly Spice at Niagara and got top 32. And there was another guy that piloted the Exodia deck, new one at all things, got top 32. The top cut was so freaking diverse. It actually got me more hyped and excited to play this format than I already was. Like I said, I've been going to locals consistently playing heroes, and one thing I noticed about this format, even though the decks do pop off with one card, if you have one good hand trap and time it just right, and your hand is somewhat playable, you can win. This format has a lot of skill in it that I think players aren't going to appreciate until years on in. And of course, we're going to have naysayers. And of course, when have people say, oh, well, we do have shifter decks in the format, and those decks are skillless. And to an extent, you have a point. Like, anybody can play a shifter deck, for example. I know this is kind of off topic, but not really. You can play a shifter deck like Tenpai, Ritual Beast, Kashtira even. Open the shifter and just beat the opponent. We're all not gonna argue that, but let's not act like other decks don't have their own version of shifter where they open up their one card combo and it's pretty much over unless the opponent had it out. Me, for example, playing heroes. If I open up my Fusion Destiny with Mass Change combo, my ending board is gonna be Dark Law, Plasma, DP. Unless my opponent has a board breaker, they're cooked. Snake Eyes Asmina, for example. Snake Eyes Asmina Fiendsmith. They open up their 1 to 2 card combo, your opponent don't have any interruptions or an out, you're cooked. So yeah, shifter is one of those I don't want to be that guy that says just draw the out, bro, with shifter, because shifter is a little different, because shifter there's not too many outs to it. So I understand that. I'm not dumb to that fact, but me personally, I don't always lose the shifter decks. I've had shifter played on me and I've won. Like, yes, for Ritual Beast player, for example, right, draw their shifter, and I don't have any follow-up for my combos, at the very least, I better have hand traps or I'm gonna have a hard time. Konami just released Dominance Impulse. Now, everyone's talking about the Ferralos card, right? I can't pronounce his first name, but the Ferralos card, the new Maxi. I don't really see a lot of people complaining about Dominance Impulse. I do see it here and there, but not a lot. I think that card is low-key better than Ferralos. Reason being, Ferralos it can only be used when you're on your opponent's turn. When it has its own stipulations, right? And I don't think it can be used pretty much past the first turn. While Dominance Impulse is literally Solemn Judgment. Well, I'm sorry, Solemn Warning in a smaller sense to negate a summon from the hand. That is really good. Hand Trap Summon Negation is insane. And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you know, where is the game going from this? I don't know. But at the same time, what I do know is when you have cards like that existing versus a shifter deck, okay, I guess shifter, summon Dominance Impulse, or if I want to be cheeky, keep it in my hand with my Ash Blossoms, set one card face down, or make sure I don't get OTK, pass. I have all my hand traps ready that I need to play this game with my Imperm set, and just start popping off from there and try to come back. Do you always come back in situations like that? No, but can it happen? Yes, I've done it. A lot of you guys have done it all the time. So I think what the biggest issue is that people really aren't pointing out is people are saying Yu-Gi-Oh is a trash game. And while I do agree Yu-Gi-Oh has its flaws, Yu-Gi-Oh is a very fun game. I don't even think the biggest issues in Yu-Gi-Oh personally is the format. I think personally it's more of the prizing for us. Like Konami just gave us new prizing for top 16 that was announced at YCS Niagara, which was a frame board for the YCS prize cards you get for doing well, or you can frame your cards in it. Picture will probably be on the screen. And while that's a good gesture, Konami, come on, dog. Come on. I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. And they're trying, but it's like, come on, dude, really? Y'all that cheap? But that's neither here nor there. I feel like, honestly, G, if the pricing in Yu-Gi-Oh was a lot better, a lot of these small complaints about the format, the game state, expensive cards would not even be a thing. Yu-Gi-Oh cards have always been expensive. I don't want to be that guy, but let's be real. I've been playing the game since 2002, 20 plus years at this point. We've had Dark Arm Dragon format where Dark Arms were like $250 a piece. I remember when Maxi first came out, that card was like $100 plus. I remember when the Fake Veiler was $30 to $60. Like, I remember a lot of these staples that we have now that are dirt cheap was really expensive. So cards like Fuwalos, cards like Dominance Impulse being expensive don't really bother me that much. Even when I was a broke college student, that stuff didn't bother me as much because it gave me a goal to reach weekly and locally, so that way I can, for one, make my money back if I get the card, but for two, it gave me something to think about doing. Now, if I can just buy the card outright and have an edge over my opponent, I would do that. However, the money thing never really bothered me as much as the pricing thing. That's just me personally. I know a lot of you guys are saying you want the game to be cheap like Pokemon, you want the game to be more affordable like Magic, and I get it. Trust me, I get it. I want the game to be affordable too, but I don't think that's the biggest issue. Biggest issue right now is literally the pricing. The format right now is not bad. Some people don't like multi-deck formats. I love multi-deck formats. I got my only one YCS top in a multi-deck format. So I like, and the reason why I like multi-deck formats is, guys, is because the anime was based on variety. Yugi and all of them, they went to different people, they dueled. Everyone had a different deck. Everyone played the decks their own way. And that made the game fun. I hate mirror matches personally. I hate going to a tournament where I'm playing against everyone doing the same old thing as me, which is one of the reasons why I kind of took a break from Yugioh and I'm considering selling the deck. I don't know if I'm gonna sell it just yet. I did say I was gonna sell it last week. However, I don't know if I'm gonna sell my Yugioh deck just yet. Might keep it because I do kind of like the archetype. However, with that being said, I don't like mirror matches. So, and I know that's one of the most popular decks in format. But to wrap this point up, because I don't know how long this video is gonna be, I don't think the game is as bad as, at least the format right now is as bad as people were predicting it was gonna be. I don't think not owning cards like Fuwalos or Dominance Impulse is hurting players like they said it would, because people like me are doing good locally. Ryan Yu didn't even run those cards, and he did good at freaking Niagara. He got second place, and apparently the only reason he didn't get first place is because he bricked and drew bad. He couldn't draw a ray to save his freaking life, which sucked. But you know, it happens like that. It is what it is. And then there's a lot of players, like I said, that's really skillful with their decks. And even though they might be running the Fawalos in the side deck, not even in the main deck, I would probably argue they probably could still not side it and do fine. A lot of times people just run broken card because they're good for a reason, but it don't necessarily mean that there's not more than one way to skin a cat, if you guys know that old school reference. So, with all that inclusion, man, get good. Yu-Gi-Oh players get really freaking good. I don't mean that as an insult. I actually really mean that. A lot of players I see that play decks, they give up on the deck way too freaking early, never learn the in and outs of a deck, and then they get mad when they can't top with it. Now, I do know players also say, well, I don't want to just top. I want to win events. I don't care about just topping. I want to win the event. Well, that's twofold. You want to win the event, guarantee you'll give yourself the highest chance of winning the event, play the best deck. Shout out the money for the best deck. You know what you're getting yourself into if you're going to play this game. If not, shut up about it. People are tired of hearing it. If you don't want to play the best deck, get good with a deck that you've mastered or took the time to master, like Ryan Yu with Sky Strikers, like me with Heroes, like Michael Walters with freaking Pure Yugioh. And there's endless list of people I can mention, but you guys get the point I'm trying to make. So with that being said, man, do you guys agree or disagree with me? I'm gonna leave the discourse for you guys in the comment section down below. Also, if you guys want to check out my awesome hero deck profile, you guys can click right here to see that video, to see that deck profile. And also, make sure to check out my previous vlog. I'll have an annotation after my vlog, probably at the end of this video as well, where I went X1 at locals. Losing against my boy Jojo. Against what deck in the finals, guys? The finals of my recent locals. Even though meta decks in the room, like Tenpai and Yubel was there, and I think it was a Snake Eyes deck there as well, because the finals was my hero deck versus freaking Gene Raiders. So now I'm just like, bro, I think a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players just complain way too freaking much. You don't have to shell out all the money to be good in every format. Now, certain formats you definitely have to. I will be the first one to say that. But right now, have fun. Build a cheap deck and learn it. Don't just take the deck to freaking locals, play it a few times because you watched a few combos online from some YouTuber you like to watch. That includes me too. And actually try to learn the in and outs of the deck and put your own spin on it. I always tell people all the time, put your own spin on a deck. Play what you like. You might invent something me or one of these pros didn't even think of, and that may give you the opportunity to take that combo that you thought about to an event to do well. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen enough, which is why you see people like the Ancient Gear dude during national season took his Ancient Gear deck to Nats and started off really good. He was like 6-0. That's freaking impressive. So when there's real skill involved, it shows its head. And the Yu-Gi-Oh players with real skill, like Ryan Yu, a lot of the role players that's been doing our things recently, it just goes to show you guys can do good without shelling out a lot of money. Anyway, man, I'm tired of talking. I'm tired. Hope this video came out right. It's your boy Rogue, and I'm signing out. Peace. I'm gonna wait to see you guys arguing in the comment section. Peace.